But other than that, most of the teams are winning their games, so they can rest. Now, the Celtics taking advantage of it because other teams are resting. Sure. We're having an easier stretch. We mentioned this late in December. We went through the gauntlet then, but then the season gets a lot easier from the... We're taking advantage of that. So that's credit to the team winning. Have y'all ever felt this way, though? When the Celtics start winning games, I'm talking about this season, in history, the last 5 years I've been really close and paying attention to this team. You get on a hot win streak, and next thing you know, something happens. Whether it's a random rumor that happens in the trade wire, or a player gets injured, or someone asks and demands for more touches in the game. Something happens with a team, the armor gets cracked. And guess what? There's no way it wouldn't have happened to the Celtics, because Jags, I heard of a story that you actually told me about Jaylen Brown potentially, was it wanting a trade or getting trade? Someone break this trade down for me.
Oh, man. So where to even begin, Bobby? So first off, it was Steve Bulpett who reported it. Now, for people that don't know who that is somebody that is working for Heavy.com currently, but he is very intertwined and very connected in the Boston media. He actually, I don't want to misquote, but it was like Boston Globe or Sports Journal. It was one of those he worked for a long time. It's not James, Jags to riches saying that, Jaylen wants out. It's a credible source that talks to people that are hearing something. You know what I mean? It didn't just come out of anywhere. So basically the quote was, and I'll paraphrase, it was something along the lines of, Jaylen Brown did not ask out himself. Jaylen Brown does not want to trade. Jaylen Brown does not want out. He emphasized that, Bobby. But what he did say, and I believe the exact wording was, if things continue to falter, Jaylen Brown may potentially look to, divorce the Celtics this offseason. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. Like, what do you mean by falter? And we've kind of just went over the recent winning. So 10 out of the last 14 games, I mean, is that... What do you mean? Because it continued to falter. They're actually going upwards right now. So I don't think it wasn't pulled out of thin air. But at the same time, it's like, is this just something that has been told to three people and now it's just being misquoted? Or is it something where, there is some truth to it? And if there is truth, I mean, I was just talking to somebody in the comments earlier. Shout out to you, Mitch. He made a great point. 2 years is not that long before, it will be extension time for JB, and I mean, so they are running out of time, and now we're starting to hear rumblings of him wanting out. So now you're talking about maybe one more year before it'd be that actual thought of needing to get rid of him. But I don't know, Bobby. I don't know if it's smoke or if there's fire. What are your thoughts?
I've always believed that if there's smoke, there's fire somewhere. But let me give you my thoughts on this thing. I doubt Jaylen Brown requested, or maybe his agent maybe requested, or whatever is going on here. I don't buy too much into it. Number one, Jaylen Brown's outspoken. He would have said something himself. Yeah. Unless it comes from the horse's mouth, I don't believe anything, especially when it comes with Jaylen Brown.
It was
he
would
a
competitor.
It was a competitor, an opposing GM. Teams all the time try to leak things that probably have the slightest rumor of being true. However, Danny Ainge himself wanted to trade for players. We heard the stuff about Marcus Smart being traded, or Josh Richardson. We'll see. Trade deadline's on the way. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, next week.
But I'll buy it when I see it. Jaylen Brown, I believe, and again, we've always talked about this too, who gets traded first, Brown or Tatum. I think Brad Stevens would rather cut his arm off than trade one of those two guys. I have seen it from start to finish. So Jaylen Brown gets traded, no chance, no way, no how.
I said it, Bobby. I told in the video I made, I dropped on Celtics Corner about does Jaylen want out. I said, guys, we're like several steps away from that happening. Yes. You still got Marcus Smart here. Listen, this upcoming offseason, they're going to break some things down, make some changes, and then you still would have to go through a Marcus Smart trade. Like, there are several steps before they would ever consider that. That would be like the trade deadline of his final year of the contract. Like, he's about to leave. He's not committing to re-sign, and it's about to be the trade deadline. That is when you'll see that. Otherwise, I mean, guys, you forget that the Celtics are in a very interesting situation. Our core four, and I'll be very quick here, Bobby, but our core four has been getting complimented a lot with the Jays, obviously Marcus Smart and Rob Williams all playing very well recently, right? Okay. Well, people don't forget that we're only a year away from one of our biggest contracts in Al Horford coming off the books. Now think of 27 million and where that money can then go. Like the players, he makes more than Jaylen Brown. He makes the same as like Donovan Mitchell. And I mean, those are the caliber players that make that same salary. So in another season, when they have that money off the books, who knows who's going to want to join the Jays? And it's going to be a very valuable player, God willing, knock on wood. And then I mean, I would say pump the brakes. Let's not overreact. You know, there's no way, no how, like Bobby said, Jaylen Brown's leaving the Celtics anytime soon.